will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, traders. It's the last hour of the market, so clearly it's the afternoon. Welcome out, everybody, to the Tradespoon live trading room. Stocks and options closing bell. My name is Scott. I am the head trading coach here at Tradespoon, and I will be your host. And I feel like the week's mostly done by the time we chat. I'm gonna talk to Vlad and see if I can't convince him to give me like a Monday morning or a Monday afternoon. If I could do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that'll bridge the gap. You know what I mean? I'm gonna lobby for it. What do you guys think? Yeah, I'm in. Okay, for those who don't know me, yes, Monday afternoon, Ted said, I love it. If Ted agrees, then it's obviously a good idea. Clearly. I'm gonna push for it. Trading for over 20 years, teaching for going on 20 years as of now. That is me. These are the disclosures. Be careful out there. We're not advisors. This is for education only. Have a plan, manage your risk, manage your psychology. All right, let's get to it. Let's get into it. Yahoo always exposes me for my shopping habits. You can see I'm buying some new tires for my car. I should always check and make sure there's nothing like embarrassing there. Hello, Ricardo. Good to see you. Hey, Ted. Good to see you as well. Hi, LK. Good afternoon to everybody else as well. What do we know? Dow falls as retail data affirms hawkish Fed expectations. You know, it's a funny thing where everyone's like, oh, sales are down. And you're like, well, they have to be for inflation. If sales never come down, inflation never comes down, right? It's prices. Prices are impacted by supply and demand. What are the factors that influence supply and demand? Well, obviously the supply chain. So when not enough goods come, prices go up. Or not enough goods are produced, or whatever else happens from all the pandemic, and who knows how long those things take. But the other thing is obviously demand. And if people are like, yeah, I'm going to bitch and moan, but I'm going to keep buying, well, then things are going to keep going higher. And so, you know, we had some data come out yesterday. Let me see if I can jump across. Let me see if I can jump across a little bit earlier. Let me see. Come on. I need a new mouse and a new keyboard. I'm going to buy a new mouse and keyboard. These are driving me insane. Okay, here we go. So, yes, there it is. Yesterday, we had CPI that was supposed to come in at 0.4, and it came in at 0.5. And core CPI was supposed to be 0.3, and it came in at 0.4. Year over year was supposed to be 6.2, was 6.4, 5.5 was 5.6. Now, these numbers are all down from like the worst, but it's like, well, you know, is it just going to be a nice steady descent back to where inflation is at 2%, 2.5%, even 3%? Not necessarily. Remember, everybody's still employed. So even if their money doesn't go as far relative to the increase in prices, they still have money. They're still spending, right? There may be a few times where they have to prioritize differently, but overall, for me, this is still best case scenario. The Fed's probably going to go a quarter of a point, but they're in a situation where they believe they can continue with quarter points. Quarter points are not going to have dramatic impact on the economy. We've seen already. We acclimated to 3 quarters, and now a quarter's like, okay, why not? Just put it on. Tack it on to the bill, right? And so, it's an interesting time to say the least, but retail sales unexpectedly jumped. They were expecting it to be up 1.9. It was up 3%. People are still spending money. That's a good thing. Empire State Manufacturing had an absolute shit report last month. It was supposed to be bad again this time, and it's not as bad. So that's good news. Production flat, capacity utilization down a little bit. Okay. I mean, it's all still in reasonable places. So, nothing to worry about there. Ted said there could be some mumbling, grumbling, stumbling about there being a 0.5 point hike in our next meeting. When is our next meeting? Our next meeting is not till the middle of March. Is that right? I believe it's the middle of March. We had a meeting in the middle of December. Then we got one just 2 weeks ago. 6 weeks. Yeah, I would say, if I had to guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say the next meeting is March 14th, 15th. Does that sound right? FOMC calendar. Here we go. What does the calendar tell us? Oh, no, I was wrong. One extra week, 7 weeks on this one, March 21st to 22nd. So we've got 5 weeks from now. Yeah. 5 weeks from now. Got it. Okay. What I say, QQQ is overbought with a lower high. Yeah, let's go take a look. Let's see what else is going on. Debt ceiling. SIBO says default could come as soon as July. Obviously, they're gonna go back and forth. They're gonna pander to their base. Oh, we're not gonna cave. We're gonna blah blah. We're spending hawks, yada yada, and then they'll raise it because they have to. What else? Home builder confidence rises again. We've been looking at, I believe it was Toll Brothers and XHB on our list. Sports betting booms. All those traders who came across from DraftKings has left to go back to sports betting, I guess. A salary below this amount is a dating deal breaker for many Americans. When does that conversation come up, out of curiosity? Is that like pre-date or on the first date, or do you give it a few before you ask? When is it appropriate to ask the person you're on a date with? And is it now okay both ways, so guys can ask girls their salary as well? I'm just curious. I'm curious. I think that's about it. What else is going on? It's a nice looking sandwich over there. What's that? The best bang for your buck. That's Shake Shack, I think. That's pretty good. It makes me hungry for sure. All right. Any news I'm missing? Prime is now 179. What? Man, they snuck that on me. I still swear I'm still paying $99. I don't even pay attention. All of a sudden, my Prime's going to be like $4.99, and I'm going to be like, when did that happen? Okay, let's keep moving. What's on the calendar? So we talked about Tuesday. Tuesday's numbers. Let me see. Tomorrow, oh no, we had retail sales. Tomorrow, jobless claims. Again, the jobless claims, an insect sandwich. The jobless claims, like when they were in the like 220s to 230s, we're like, these are fine. These are fine. The fact that they've even come down more. If you remember, we read a little bit about, I think it was Bank of America, who's like, this economy is going to start shedding 300,000 jobs a month. And it's like, nowhere near that, right? Like, not even close. For us to shed those amounts of jobs, we would have to see you know, 270 to 300 on a weekly basis. And this is not happening. So jobless claims looks good. The inflationary data is okay. It's, again, I don't think anyone's expecting that it's just going to drop. Now, if we ever have 2 months in a row with an uptick, then I think the Fed's going to be like, so for example, we just got some data. If in March we get another uptick, then in the March report, I think they will go 0.5 point, right? But if you know, it just continues to simmer, I think the 0.25 points what we're going to continue to see. Let's quickly look at the markets from the model. So the model's really gone lukewarm. Just kind of a nice sideways basing pattern. We had all this time. So basically we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days where the forecast was saying up. But the longer it takes for the buyers, the more the model's like, oh, they're not coming. Right? Yeah. Let's look at the others. QQQ. The Qs, it says negative here, and it's an A grade, but mostly sideways, right? Mostly sideways. Let's go IWM. Problem with the current jobless claims is they already screwed with from numerous people out of the workforce. So are the numbers not comparative? Well, I mean, it's hard to say. You know, you can look at the there are different rates, but really what we're working off of now is, are there new so new jobless claims would be people who left a job either because, right, mostly because they were laid off, right? If you quit a job, you don't get to file for unemployment. When you think about filing for unemployment, very specific circumstances, and that's usually going to be layoffs. So if there was a, you know, we keep hearing, oh, there's a Google laid off 10% and Coinbase laid off 15%. There's all of these indications of, you know, whether or not this is a shift in the unemployment, because the people who have kind of taken themselves out of the job market don't really get included in that at this point, right? We have a certain number of people who are employed, and that leads to the, you know, looking at the number of people in, maybe the unemployment number would be misleading, where at 3.5%, it's more like 4.5%, because 1%, that's 1.5 million, 2 million people, right? So is there some softness there? But remember that for the jobless claims to go up, people have to start filing for new unemployment benefits. You know, there's currently 11 million job openings. And so for me, I don't see any issues. You know, are there some issues in the labor market? Yeah, of course there probably are, but that are going to impact the way the economy and the stock market are functioning? I'm going to say, as of right now, no. Not for me. Yeah. So, okay. Losing the lower paying jobs than before on inflation adjusted. Well, yeah, I mean, so wages are going up, but they're not going up as fast as inflation is going up, right? So we had inflation hit 8%. Now we're sitting at like 5.5% or whatever it is. And income is going up at a pace of like 1 to 2%. So there is definitely a disparity there, that if the longer that disparity goes on, the harder it is. It's an interesting scenario for sure. However, as you watch corporate earnings, they came back fine. There wasn't like all of a sudden this huge panic, like, oh my God, we don't know what we're going to do next quarter, next year. Or that we see huge drops in demand and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I think for all of us, you know, coming out of a pandemic and having the supply chain issues we did, seeing the inflation ramp up the way that it did, we're still in somewhat uncharted waters. But I'll tell you this, if I'm going to be in uncharted waters, I would rather have the calm of a strong employment scenario where we're not seeing jobs actively being lost and we're not seeing, huge surges in the unemployment rate, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I think it's certainly something we want to keep an eye on, without a doubt. Okay, and let's look at, so this is the IWM. IWM is actually, this one was, I was thinking that small caps were looking much better, but this looks pretty weak. The model's gone weak, gone bearish on small caps, and the Dow is still flat. So we got 3 flat, 1 more down. Yeah. So there you go. Flat. That is, we may see some basing patterns here. And to be honest with you, we're going to see this here in just a second. Flat tends to be the second half of February and into March. Yeah. If you look here, even a little bit of a consolidation, a little bit up, a little bit down. But we as much as the first 4 months tend to be pretty good, and February through April tend to be the best, after the initial jump in February, we actually tend to see sideways for a while. We may see a little bit of a grind, and then a bump in the middle of March, pull back, and then a large bump. April tends to be a very positive month, late March, early April. The correlation, again, like it's off the charts bad all of a sudden, down minus 45%. I actually look at it and think, you know what, this is reasonably in line. I'm not sure what about the calculation is making it go that far off, but for me, from a visual standpoint, I'm actually okay with this. Yeah, I am definitely okay with this. Okay, here's the heat map. Oil, energy getting beat up. Healthcare, especially drug manufacturers getting beat up. Medical devices not as bad, right? But the pharmaceutical and health plans not great at all. Technology, Apple's fine. Microsoft is not. We've been saying we like Apple better. Semiconductors and the rest of this, IT, communication equipment, other things in those lines all look pretty good. So technology still looks fine. Consumer cyclical looks fine. Communication services, other than Facebook, looks okay. Consumer defensive is a bit off, although the ones that we like out of consumer defensive sort of straddle that line with consumer cyclical. Costco, Target, both on our watch list. Both of them sitting very close to the cyclical. Industrials looks a little better. Caterpillar's one that we've been watching. Financials is mixed. There you go. That's what we have going on for today. Okay, let's get into some things. I'm late. I'm behind. What is this chart? What is this chart here? Let's go 6 months. Yeah, Caterpillar is still just kind of like, you could take it. It's certainly sitting on a support level. Take the trade. If it gets up, you made your money. If it breaks, you're out. Yeah. Anyways, if you get a chance, look at a new company via recent spinoff, ESS. I will take a look at that. Absolutely. Let's get a quiz. Let's look at the SPY, get a quiz, the VIX. We'll try to do sector rotation. We'll try to get through the whole watch list. And we'll go from there. SPY is now up 0.02%. Yeah, we're flat. We started down, we recovered, and we're still just sitting here. I mean, at the end of the day, this did give us a signal back here. What day is today? Wednesday. So this was Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Monday, yeah. We've taken out this low at this point. We went up, down, up. That was where I put on a half a hedge. And yes, I have closed it. So to be fair, I use this paper account to just kind of demonstrate what we're doing, but I don't manage it very actively. So there's times where I like close a trade, but I forget to do it in the paper account and it sits there. So I think that could be a little bit of what's going on. To be fair. But yes, you can see the VIX. We did get up. It was an interesting one because on Friday we said, it was interesting, but it was really on Monday here that this came down and it's a little bit lower and a little bit lower. We still haven't gotten below this one here. Let me draw my consolidation line across here. Whoops. I mean, at this point, we're kind of moving back into this consolidation, but aggressively bullish would be a little bit more seeing it come up and then drop from here lower still. That would be, that'd be nice. It's a lot. I mean, you can see we really shook a lot of volatility off, even though the market didn't gain much ground. It was kind of like, I don't know. The VIX looks a lot better than the market does. Now, that's always interesting when that happens to me because this is kind of like, you've got to read and interpret the implications, and the implications of this type of a divergence where we have a huge drop in the VIX and a very minimal increase in price action. That's a little bit of an interesting scenario. It's kind of stuck in here right now. Overall, this still looks bullish. If you put bullish trades on over the last few days, this looks good here. We pulled back, we stabilized. This is turning here. Any bullish trade you put on, I'm like, yeah, I have to agree with you. Now, whether or not it's following through, that's a different story, right? That's a horse of a different color. And we're hoping the color's green, but we don't know yet. Okay, let's I'm still gonna do a quiz. I'm late, but I'm doing it anyways. These gold medals aren't just gonna hand themselves out. We've got boxes and boxes of metaphorical gold medals that must be awarded. Okay, where are we going? This is 15 minutes. I'm going to make this 5 minutes. And I'm going to say that's not what I wanted. That was not very straight. Okay. A, above 413.50. And C is below 412.50. You've got a $1 range. 413.50 and above, you're an A. 412.50 to 413.50, you're a B. Below 412.50, you're a C. Give me your answers. I love it. First three answers. I have Ricardo. Hello, Ricardo. Is a B. I have Ted as a C. I have LK as an A. Randall is a B. Give it to me. I need at least a few more answers. Kent is a B. All of a sudden, the B's are moving into place. Jacques is a C. You know what? I'm gonna join LK as an A. I think we're gonna see just like a little bit of a late session rally, and we're gonna finish not quite at 414, but close. That's what I think we're gonna see a little bit of that come in late in the day. Unless it doesn't, then I'm completely wrong. Who knows? We'll see what happens. All right, let's jump in. Let's look through the watch list and see what developed since Friday morning. I mean, it's crazy, right? Because when you think about it, we meet the first hour of Friday, the last hour of Wednesday, which means there's basically an entire day of market Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday. And then from Wednesday to Friday, there's literally 6 hours of like one day that we don't see each other. And then we're right back to it. So it's like a 4-day and then a 1-day. I need that Monday. Did I close the March put? Yes. Yes, I did. Minimal loss. Let's do okay. Alcoa. You can see Alcoa back here where it was like, oh, is it gonna try? But it just kept going. So that's why we shut it down. I think this was the main day. I said, be careful here. It might try to trick you into staying around, and then it sure did. Right? So right as it starts to, when we have a projection of what we think can happen and it moves away from that, it veers, pay attention to that, right? Pay very close attention to that. Apple looks good. It's looked good since right here. And it's the same signal. I would say that's valid. In fact, if you look at this with a Heiken Asher, you probably have a nice ability to use this. If you were to enter today, maybe we'll look at a trade on Apple today. Apple wants to lead us out of this mess, right? The spirit of Steve Jobs lingers. Yeah, I'd put a pretty tight stop on this. I definitely think it can move 10 points. So if I can risk 2.5, I guess it would be more like 3. 155 down to, yeah, about 3 points. If I can risk 3 to get 10, all day. Woo! Look at ADI. My goodness. My goodness gracious. ADI smashed it. So semiconductors, expecting 258, got 275. Archer Daniels still in the tank. Nothing there for us. AMD gave a signal back here. If you took this trade, even though it was still down, I think you have the right candle. If you waited till the next day, you're down a little bit. That's valid. That's a valid trade. If anyone took a trade, I agree with that. Amazon, valid. Valid from right here. Hasn't moved much, so you're still in the same scenario. Amazon is a valid trade. I want to see what Stella thinks about these as I go. Apple. Survey says iffy. Iffy. Okay. Okay. She's not saying no, though, is she? She's not saying no. Amazon. Okay, so it's an interesting one because it is saying, yeah, you could pop for 3 days and then drop for 6. So I would say that's iffy, but I still think that there's some prospects in that space. Okay, we'll keep hitting this. AXP. Yeah, it's since this gap, it's like just been grinding. There's really not much for us to do with that. Boeing, yeah, iffy. Baba, not great. Be careful with Chinese stocks. Caterpillar, it gave a signal. It just signaled and then it just sort of sputtered. Followed by sputtering. ConocoPhillips looks a little bearish. Costco gave a signal on Monday. Did anyone take it? Still a valid signal today. Probably a better Heiken Ashi. I would say Costco is viable. Anybody take a trade on Costco? That is definitely one that we have been talking about. DBC. Don't love it. John Deere. Nope. Diamonds. Look how flat those are. Sideways indeed. Disney. I would say Disney's on the menu. It's on the shopping list. Mm-hmm. Walt Disney. Oh, Stella's sniffing something out there that she doesn't like. So if I like it and the model is sideways or just kind of slightly up, then I'm like, okay. But if I like it and Stella's like, I think it's garbage, I'm probably going to listen. ESS. I'm going to sneak it in, Ted, alphabetically. Not Ted, Kent. Sorry, Kent. Sneak it in alphabetically. Here is ESS. I mean, it's trending. Trades, it doesn't trade a lot. 500,000-600,000, and that's with an uptick here recently. So it has options. But I wouldn't expect the options to be that great, to be honest. TBH. All right, let's keep going. FCX. It's kind of loitering a little bit there. FedEx. FedEx gave a signal if you took it. I did not take this one, but I did take others. So yeah, this one's a little off. FXI. Not great. Gold, not great. Goldman. That's tough. It consolidated, moved, consolidated. Yeah, I don't love that one. I actually think IWM still looks fairly strong. I'm not sure what the model sees because, it's bouncing. It's moving. We'll see what happens with this. Jets, iffy, but still feasible. MasterCard is just kind of lingering. There is Facebook. So Facebook looked like it was going to try to consolidate and then possibly get a bounce, but that bounce is really not coming yet. So I guess we'll see. This one's definitely a bit of a concern. Marvell looks pretty good. Gave a signal Monday, confirmed Tuesday. A bit of a pullback today. Microsoft doesn't look great. Apple definitely looks better. Netflix, iffy. Nvidia, pretty good. Oracle. Oracle also gave a signal that's floundering a little bit. We have some flounders. There's a bit of floundering. Someone asked about QQQ. What was the question? Let me find it. No. Would you say that QQQ is overbought with a lower high? Not yet. I mean, it's you can see here, I have a pretty fast and responsive stochastics with the 7.3. It hasn't got up in here yet. It's definitely showing positive momentum. And if it doesn't get above, let's call it 312, then it would be a lower high. As of now, not yet though. Still looks overall, this looks pretty bullish to me. And in fact, this or here, these would have been signals, and those trades would be making money today. So there you go. What was the last one we looked at on the model? Disney. We didn't look at FedEx. What else do we say might be viable besides FedEx? Not Goldman, IWM, right? No, IWM doesn't look good. I mean, so you can see FedEx actually still looks like it could have a consolidation followed by a buy. Let's look at NVIDIA and Oracle and see how the model likes the way those look. Okay. Okay. Starbucks. So Starbucks, I said I'm waiting. None of this was convincing enough. At this point, the buyers have done enough that I would take the next cycle. So this one is, you can see, entering into this overbought zone. So my thought is from here, yeah, maybe we get a little higher. Maybe we get all the way up to 110. And then we pull back. And if we only pull back to 106, something like that, where I would say that higher low is what I'm looking for. I'm still just sort of waiting on this one, but let's see what Stella thinks about Starbucks. She does like their coffee. I can attest to that. SBUX. Okay, Starbucks. Again, man, a lot of this. It's not necessarily that the model's like, this looks terrible. The model's like, I'm not getting enough information to assign either the buyers or the sellers control. Nobody's in control right now. There's indecision, uncertainty, ambiguity, whatever you want to call it, results in the same thing, and that's a market not moving very much. So we have to be overall careful. Silver. Yeah, I mean, since it broke down, it's really struggled, right? Not a lot going on. Semiconductors still looks pretty bullish. SPY still overall has some bullishness about it. Friday into Monday is where the put would be closed. Like I said, really not terribly impactful either way. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, Target. Target gave a signal here on Monday. Paused on Tuesday, rallying today. Anybody take this trade? We were talking about this one Friday to Monday. So Monday gave a nice little turning signal. Being up 2.5%, I feel like it'd be a little too late now. Yeah. Toll Brothers. Looks good. Earnings are coming up though. So if you wanted to trade Toll Brothers without sitting through its earnings, you can always take a look at XHB. XHB is the home builder ETF. It's going to look very, very similar. XHB trades 2 million. Actually, XHB trades more shares. You'd have better options. So yeah, if you like the way Home Builders is producing news and whatnot, then yeah, it's a good one. I think XHB's got some prospects to it. Tesla had a mini pullback and then a turn. Anyone like that? That happened without us being able to see it. UNG may be going sideways. Visa, very sideways. VIX coming down pretty quickly. Sorry, am I late? Any trades? 7 trades. They all look magnificent. No, we're just looking. We're just looking, trying to see what we like. Financials just kind of stalled out. Industrials stalled out. Staples down a little bit. Discretionary gave a signal on Monday. Anybody take that trade? That was a nice one. Sorry, the symbol I was talking about was not ESS. The symbol is GWH. GWH. Whoops. Where did that go? I typed GWH. I don't know where it went. GWH. Okay. I mean, look, for me, it's consolidating. It's ESS Tech. That's the name of the company. Got it. That makes sense. So here's this channel, right? Here's this channel. All it's got to do is break above 2.5 and then test above 2. And then I'm going to be interested. But for 2 months, this thing's just been sitting there, right? I need to be convinced that the buyers are, if this thing starts moving again, why would we not think 5 is back in the cards, right? Yeah, definitely. So that's what I'll be looking for. Okay. That's it for the watch list. I mean, you can see we had signals show up Monday, Tuesday. Today, it's starting to get where we're a little bit behind the signal, and I'm not as comfortable taking the trade. So, at this point, I'm going to say, we're just sort of maintaining and keeping an eye on things. As we said, it can definitely grind a little sideways in February, so be aware of that. Watch your time values, right? Time value is important. If you're buying options, and even with the implied volatility somewhat low, if you're sitting in there for 2 weeks, it's gonna suck it out and not leave you with much. So right now, even though vols are a little lower, if I take trades, I'm probably going to be more inclined to try to get theta at least neutral, if not positive. That gives me a little bit of staying power to go with to stay with the trades. Yeah. Yes, that's my story. Overall, though, I'm still more bullish than not. Right? I'm still more bullish than not. That hasn't fundamentally changed. The VIX is still low. It had a little bit of a breakup, but didn't really ever convincingly get above 21. The sectors are still being led by the right growth areas to assume bullishness: financials, consumer discretionary, communication services, technology. The volume profile still supports the more bullishness than not in the market. So yeah, that's where we find ourselves. I took a little bit of a hedge, shut it down fairly quickly. No harm, no foul. And here's where we find ourselves now. Ken said they recently got a California contract for major infrastructure storage batteries about the size of train cars that hold much more than lithium ion and cost 10%. Oh, very interesting. They placed a big order for their solar panels they are putting over their water source. It's good to kill two birds with one stone, right? To reduce evaporation by covering things up with solar panels. We're getting more efficient with energy. That's nice to see. And including water in the conversation. Love it. Yeah, very cool. I'm going to definitely take a look. Seems like that could do very well over time. Might be more of a investment story than a trading story, which I'm fine with, right? Hopefully you have two piles of money that you're working with, including both trading and investing. So yeah. All right. Well, let's go see who wins today's gold medal. What is it gonna tell? Oh, it's looking bullish. It's looking bullish. I said it's gonna get close to 414, but not all the way up there. Oh, I think that the A's are gonna. Who was an A with me? LK. Me and LK. I mean, technically, we've still got a minute left, but it's pushing pretty well, to be fair. $413.68. We're down to the last 50 seconds. When am I going to be on again? Friday morning. So we have a day, 1 day of the market, and then we'll see each other for the open. Oh, look at that. I said right up near 414, but not quite. We're at 413.84. Buyers making a little bit of a push. 20 seconds left. Oh, the A's have it. Congratulations to Scott and LK on your magnificent 2023 gold medals. They're way better than 2022 gold medals. I mean, some of you have seen them already. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Well, listen, 413.99. Oh, we broke above 14. Very nice. Buyers made a push. Have a wonderful day. Have a great day tomorrow. I will see you Friday morning, and we're going to talk about it, see if there's some things that we see developing, make sure that we have a good sense of where the money's going and where it tells us to go. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys soon. As always, happy trading.